Hey guys, this is Shane and welcome to my Curator of the Lost channel. Today, let's talk about the smell of success, okay? This may not be what you think it's going to be about, but I think it's going to be some good information, one or two good takeaways, and hopefully a story that's worth a couple minutes of your time. So, hey, thanks for the views, the comments, the channel support. It's much appreciated. And hey, if you keep subscribing and liking and commenting and viewing, and I'll keep doing this, and we'll see what happens. So again, thanks so much. So let's talk about the smell of success. So when you say the smell of success, that may conjure mental images, right? You've got the successful businessman or the successful family living in a mansion, driving the big cars, traveling the world. It could conjure different imagery depending on where you're at and where you're at in your life, or what success is defined for you. But in terms of a bookseller, the smell of success can mean a couple of things. First off, it is when you find that book for a quarter or 50 cents or $1, and it's a great find, right? It's a find that it's like it's a $100, $200 book. We've all had these things. It's just this awesome copy. You can't believe it's still on the shelf. You can't believe you stumbled on it. You list it and it sells just like that. One of those sales that you get the $100 sale and it sells inside of 10 minutes, and you think, man, I could have probably listed that higher. And that is one smell of success for us as booksellers, as people that deal in the commerce of finding books in the wild, in thrift stores, in estate sales, library bookstores, Facebook, all these places, and then reselling them on eBay or Amazon, our two big platforms. So that's the number one smell of success. But there is another smell of success, and what I will give you as the pointer, one of the big takeaways from this video, however self-indulgent it is to use all of your senses when you're buying books. And that also includes your nose, all right? You use your brain, you use your eyes. Your brain's not a sense, I get it, but you use your eyes predominantly, but use all these things that you can use, technology, but don't forget about using your nose, because I'm telling you, you smell of the book before you buy it. I sniff books all the time, and I know that sounds weird, but what you're looking for is if it has an odor, right? Especially smoke, right? I stay away from smoke-ridden books unless they are just completely just big winners. I've done things with rubbing them down with dryer sheets, putting them in bags with baking soda. I've done all these things, and that, to me, it still has this remnant of smoke. And if it does, then, even if you get it, you have to sell it that it has an odor of smoke, right? So you can reduce it, but I don't know if you can ever totally eliminate it. I haven't been successful in completely eliminating it, and I've tried all kinds of strategies. But check for smoke. You check for the musky smells, right? If it's been in a basement or a garage. And a lot of times if the books that you're finding are in the garage, or they're been in an attic, or in it's, you can tell if it's in a basement. We've probably all gone to sales where, the book rooms are in the basement, and the basement's, notoriously kind of damp and have some musky odor, and the books can get that smell. And it's a turnoff for buyers. And if it has that smell, you have to acknowledge it, right? Or the buyer's going to be disappointed. So I always smell books, and especially if they're older books, or they're books, you can tell when you pick them up. If they're super clean, they usually don't have an odor. But if it's an older book, has any kind of indications of age or spotting or anything like that, I always smell it. So use your sense of smell, and that will guide you. That will give you the smell of success, right? So in that vein, I'll tell you, when I go in, this is going into story time here, when I go into thrift stores or somewhere new, I laugh that sometimes I'm like I think it's like this reptilian part of your brain, right? I'm like, we had a cat a few years ago. He passed away, unfortunately. He was an awesome cat. His name was Trouble. And when he was an inside-outside cat. And when he would go outside, when he would step through the door, he would always stop, right? And he would take stock of his surroundings. And I think it was this survival instinct, this reptilian part of his brain or something, right? And I laughed at I'm like that when I go into a new thrift store. I like to stop and kind of get in the door and survey. Is this a thrift store that's organized by color? Is this a picker store? Is it, how's it organized? What's it look like? And quite frankly, how does it smell? Okay. Sometimes that smell is the first thing that hits you. And I know I've been in lots of bookstores that are awesome bookstores, but old books all together in a space, especially if it isn't nice climate control, can have that overwhelming, powerful odor. And you have to decide again, is it the book or is it just the place, right? So a story, this is a few months ago, I've been meaning to relate this story. I was on the outskirts of town, northern Alabama. I stopped by a thrift store that I had probably only been to one other time. And the other time that I'd went, it was really kind of a nice experience. I found a few books, and the lady had fresh cookies baked, and she's offering me cookies. And I'm like, okay, I'll take a cookie from the thrift store. It's okay. But I had not been back to this area. It's like 30 minutes outside of town, an area I don't go too much. But I was in that area, and I noticed it was there. I went by, and it might have been a year since I'd been there. And so I pull up and I go in, and I walk in. The first thing that hits me, the lady says, "Hello, come, welcome." And then it hits me, the smell of cat pee. The entire store smelled like cat urine, and there are cats everywhere. And the lady says to me, "I'm glad you're here. We just reopened. I've been sick for several months, and the cats have been living in here." I guess using the thrift store like it was a litter box. And I mean, it was awful. And I'm all for, I love a digger store, a picker store. To me, the more organized they are, the less chance of me finding that treasure, that value is. I love getting in. I've gone to places that my wife has said are the last stop to the city dump, and she goes back to the truck looking for a tetanus shot, and I'm at home, right? This doesn't bother me, but this store completely, it was so far over the limit. It smelled so bad that I just said hello. I was in the aisle, and I guess as common courtesy, I didn't just do a complete about face and walk out. I walked to the end of the aisle, circled, and just left. That's all I could do. And I don't know if she had cookies this time, but she didn't offer. I didn't ask. That would have been the icing on the cake. But something where my nose, trust your nose. Awful, awful experience at a thrift store. So I've never had anything like it that literally chased me out, and I can take a lot. So anyway, that's it. The smell of success. Trust your nose, smell your books. Don't be worried about being judged. People might look at you funny, but I'm telling you, use that. That's another tool in your arsenal. Use your nose, and you too will smell success. So that's it. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and we'll talk to you soon. And remember, see cool, buy cool. Thanks again. Bye.